the tail sign most new owners miss. Have you ever seen your cat's tail puff up, flick fast, or curl low and thought they were just being playful? A lot of new owners think exactly that, but some of those tail moves that look like excitement are actually your cat telling you they don't feel safe. This matters more than you might think because fear usually shows up long before the first scratch, the hiding, or the bite. If you learn to catch these signs early, you protect the trust between you and your cat, which is the most important thing you have. But before we dive in, there is one rule you need to remember. Never look at the tail all by itself. You have to read the tail along with the ears, the eyes, the back, and even how your cat is using the space around them. What your cat's tail is really saying when fear starts, your cat's tail isn't just there for balance or to look cute in your photos. It is a huge part of how they show what's going on inside, especially when their feelings change fast and they need to react before they even make a sound. A lot of people mix up fear and play because both can look very busy and both involve quick motions that happen in a split second. But the feeling underneath those movements is not the same at all, and your cat's body will tell you the truth if you know what to watch for. When your cat wants to play, their body usually stays loose and you'll see a little bounce in their legs while their eyes focus forward. The movement has a natural flow where your cat might pause, wiggle, and dart away only to come right back again. The tail might move fast, but the whole cat still looks open and ready for fun. Fear looks different even when it is just starting out small. The body gets tight and every movement becomes sharp, stiff, or uneven. Your cat might freeze in place, lean away from you, or keep checking the room to see if they are trapped. Instead of saying come closer, their whole body starts saying give me some space. This is why the tail often changes first. While it helps them balance, it also shifts the moment their muscles get tense. When your cat feels unsure, startled, or pushed too far, the tail reacts before the rest of the message is even obvious to you. It might drop toward the floor, puff out, or twitch in a jerky way that just feels a little bit off once you learn the pattern. The lower, stiffer, or puffier that tail gets, the more careful you should be. Not every flick means they are scared, and not every low tail means they are panicking. But when the tail loses that soft and easy look, you need to pay attention. Think about when these changes happen. Is there a new person in the room, a loud sound in the hallway, or maybe a dog staring them down? Your cat doesn't see the world the way you do, so a small change in the room can feel like a huge deal to them. One mistake new owners make is watching only the tip of the tail and ignoring the rest of the body. Your cat is giving you one full message where the tail, ears, and eyes all work together. If the tail flicks while the body is loose, that's one thing, but if the ears slide back at the same time, that means something very different. With that in mind, let's look at the first tail pattern that people get wrong all the time. Puffing, bottle brush tail, and sudden size change. This is the one tail sign that you really can't miss. 1 second your cat looks totally normal, and then suddenly their tail turns huge and fuzzy, almost twice the size you'd expect. Sometimes it sticks straight up like a bottle brush, or it might curve into a stiff arch while the fur along their back stands up too. If you've never seen this before, the change happens so fast it looks almost like a cartoon. What your cat feels in that moment isn't just silly energy, it is pure alarm. Your cat got startled, feels unsafe, or thinks something in the room might be a threat, so their body tries to look as big as possible to scare it off. That extra size isn't for style, it's a defense move. Your cat is trying to say they need space and safety right now, and they won't relax until they figure out what's going on. You'll often see this happen after a loud noise, a surprise touch, or when a stranger walks into the house too quickly. Imagine the scene. Your cat is resting on the couch when someone reaches over from behind, or they're near the hallway when the vacuum suddenly roars to life. The tail puffs up because your cat didn't have time to feel ready for what happened. A lot of new owners laugh when they see this because they think it looks cute or dramatic, especially if the cat zooms away right after. And it's true that fear and fast running often happen at the same time, which is why people confuse this with the zoomies. But zoomies come from a place of happy, loose energy. A puffed tail comes with a lot of tension, where the eyes stay wide and the cat keeps checking the room instead of just having fun. Watch the rest of your cat's body when that tail gets big to see the difference. A playful cat might bounce sideways and come back for more, but a scared cat will turn stiff, lean away, or hold their body ready to bolt at any second. Their ears might go back, and their whiskers might pull tight against their face. When your cat stares at something and then darts for cover, that isn't an invite to play. It's a warning that they've had enough. So what should you do when this happens? First, stop reaching for them. Even if you want to comfort your cat with a pet, don't push in because they might feel cornered. Lower the noise if you can, back up a little, and make sure there's a clear path for them to leave the room. If your cat wants to hide under the bed or jump up on a high shelf, just let it happen. Your cat will calm down much faster once they feel like they have a choice again. There is also a common mistake that can lead to a scratch or a swat if you aren't careful. Some people follow the cat because the puffed tail looks funny, or they try to film it while calling the cat in a loud voice. I get it, the look is very striking, but your cat doesn't need an audience right then. They need less pressure, less noise, and enough room to settle their nerves. Sometimes the puff goes away in just a few seconds, like when a door slams and your cat softens up as soon as the sound stops. But if the tail stays huge and the body stays rigid, it means the stress is still there. The moment didn't end for them just because the noise stopped. When your cat's tail puffs up, try not to treat it like a joke because they aren't being dramatic. They're just asking you for a little bit of space. Low tail, tucked tail, and the tail wrapped tight to the body. Low tail, tucked tail, and the tail wrapped tight to the body. This sign is much quieter than the others, and that is exactly why so many new owners miss it. You might see your cat walk by with their tail held low, or maybe it curves in close under the belly, or even wraps tight against the back legs. Because nothing loud or dramatic is happening, it is easy to assume everything is fine. This tail usually means your cat feels unsure and exposed. Your cat is trying to stay small and stay safe because they want to avoid drawing any extra attention. It is not a loud fear sign like a puffed up tail, but a careful fear sign, and that softer look fools people all the time. Now, I do need to give you one small note here, because not every low tail means your cat is stressed. Some cats carry their tail a bit lower when they are just walking around the house calmly, especially if their body looks relaxed, their back stays level, and their pace is smooth. You should not lock onto the tail alone and panic, so just watch how it sits with the rest of your cat's body. A worried low tail looks very different. The whole body usually shrinks along with it, and you might notice your cat crouching a little or pulling their weight back as they move. They keep their necks short and walk like every single step needs to be checked first, while their eyes look wider than usual and their ears turn out to the side. That whole picture tells you that your cat does not feel settled yet. You will see this happen a lot during very normal life moments. Maybe you just moved into a new place and your cat is crossing the room with their tail tucked in close. Maybe friends came over and your cat slips past the doorway staying low to the ground. Whether the carrier is out or the room just got too loud, these things feel small to us, but to your cat, they can feel like way too much at once. This matters because fear does not always grow big and obvious. Sometimes fear gets quiet, and it looks like stillness, or a cat trying to take up as little space as possible. A lot of people only respect fear when it looks intense, but the truth is that your cat needs your help long before it reaches that point. Look at the body clues around the tail to see the full story. If the paws are being placed down slowly, or if the chest stays low while your cat keeps glancing for an exit, that low tail is part of a bigger message. Your cat is not being shy for no reason, but is actually trying to move through a tough moment without getting into trouble. So, what should you do when you see this? First, make yourself feel less intense to them. Turn your body a little bit instead of facing your cat straight on. Keep your voice very soft, and pause that urge to scoop them up or call them over. Even the most loving attention can feel like a lot of pressure when your cat already feels unsure of themselves. Give your cat a clear place where they can go to feel safe. A simple cardboard box, a covered bed, or even a high shelf on a cat tree can help their body loosen up because they feel like they have a choice again. If your cat decides to step away from you, let that step count, because respecting that choice is how you build real trust. If you notice this tail often, and not just as a one-time thing, start looking for the patterns in your home. It might be a certain noise, a lack of good hiding spots, or maybe another pet is blocking their favorite paths. You do not need to feel bad about it because most new owners were simply never shown what this sign means. Once you see it, you can change the room in a way your cat will feel right away. The next tail move gets called attitude all the time, but it is actually something else entirely. Fast whipping, hard thumping, and sharp tail tip twitching. This is the sign people read wrong more than almost any other. Imagine your cat is on the couch or in your lap, and suddenly the tail starts snapping side to side or hitting the cushion with a thumping sound. A lot of people see that twitching at the very end and think their cat is finally getting playful, but the reality is very different. Sometimes play does involve some tail motion, but this specific pattern usually means your cat is getting flooded with emotion. Their body is filling with stress and their nerves are up, which means your cat is very close to saying no with more than just their tail. It looks small at first, so people keep petting or leaning in, but that is a mistake. You have to watch the shape of the whole cat to know for sure. When a cat is playing, they usually aim their body forward and look ready to spring or grab at something. With fear or pressure, the tail moves hard, but the body stays pulled tight. The paws brace against the floor, the back stiffens up, and the head might even turn away while that tail keeps whipping. This comes up in the most common moments of the day. Maybe you have been petting them just a little too long and your cat's tail starts thumping against the sofa before they even try to get up. A child might step in too close without giving them space, or a dog might lock eyes from across the room, causing that tail tip to flick fast even if the cat stays still. People love to call this sass or a mood, but your cat is actually being very clear with you. The message they are sending is to back off right now, not in a minute, and not after one more pet. They are telling you they have reached their limit. If you ignore that warning, the next step usually happens very fast. Your cat might spin around and bite, smack you with a paw, or bolt out of the room entirely. Then people say the attack came out of nowhere. But it really didn't, because the tail was trying to stop the interaction long before the bite happened. When you see that sharp, intense movement, the best thing you can do is freeze your hands. Stop petting and stop reaching toward them immediately. Soften your eyes and look away for a moment, because staring straight at them can add more pressure when they already feel trapped. Give your cat the room they need to reset before you try to touch them again. And there is one more thing to keep in mind. A little twitching at the very tip of the tail is not always a sign of fear. Sometimes it just shows that your cat is focused on something, like a bird outside the window. What changes the meaning is the tension in the rest of the body. If the body stays soft, you are likely fine, but if the body hardens up, you should take the hint and give them some space. Read the tail with the whole body so you don't get it wrong. By now you can probably see the pattern. Your cat's tail is not a signal that works all by itself, and it actually works together with their ears, eyes, whiskers, and even how they hold their paws. If you see the tail drop low while the ears slide back and the body shrinks down, that tells you one thing. But if that same tail flicks while the body stays loose and curious, the meaning changes completely. I like to use a simple check that helps a lot before you reach out to pet them. Ask yourself if your cat looks soft or tight, if they have an easy way to walk away, and if that tail is moving smoothly or with a lot of strain. Taking those 2 seconds to look at the big picture can save both of you from a bad moment or a scratched hand. You also shouldn't treat one single move like it's a permanent answer, so try to look for patterns that repeat over time. That is how the message finally gets clear, and it's how you truly learn your cat instead of just guessing what to do the moment you see it. The moment you spot a scared tail, your job is actually very simple. You just need to lower the pressure by giving them space and letting your cat choose what happens next, because giving them that choice is what protects the trust between you. Tell me in the comments which tail sign you see most often with your cat, and make sure to watch the next video on the screen if you want to understand their full body language even better.